Hello, folks. End all be all here, and we have a very special guest with us today. We have none other than the very famous Xaereth from the Gambit podcast joining us. We're all part of the same Gambit community. Both of us, have played the game together for years and have done tons of videos together, tons of collaborations. But this is the very first time that, not only the very first time that I'm having Xaereth on my channel, but very first time I'm doing any collab at all. So, Xaereth, you're sort of breaking ground over here. The very first collab video that I'm doing.
Heck yeah, man! We gotta keep unearthing new, exciting features here. It's fun. I love these collaborations. Thanks so much for having me on.
Absolutely, and I've enjoyed the collabs that I've done with you over the last couple of seasons. And guys, if you haven't checked out the GAC season 5v5 collab that we've done this time, we've done a couple of great videos over on Xaereth's videos. So I'm sure all of you have subscribed to me. I already have subscribed to Xaereth, but if you've not already checked it out, go to his channel and check out his the collab video that we've done on offense, and tomorrow we're going to be uploading a video on defensive teams as well. So those are going to be a really good discussion items that we'll have in order to prepare you guys for this next season, upcoming season of 5v5. So having said that, let's dive in. I'm excited about this conversation because in Xaereth's channel, we've talked about non-GL offensive and defensive teams. And this particular video is going to focus on GLs. Now we've got 5 GLs, and we want to, especially with the changes which have come in with the GL teams, we want to think about how we want to use our GLs on offense, on defense, and what are some of the combinations which make sense. So Xaereth, let's start off with the very first one. Rey is one of the first GLs to be out, and people have had her for a while. And a lot of the things that we do with Rey on defense and offense may not be new to a lot of people. But given that we just have had quite a few changes come through with the GLs, let's talk a little bit about what we should be doing with Rey. Let's talk about the first team that we see over here on the board.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
So we've got Rey, Hero Poe, and Hero Finn, and we've got Holdo and JTR, and this is one of the squads which we see quite a lot in TW these days. What are some of the thoughts that you have around this team?
So this is the pinnacle of the non-expanded divisions, right? Like this, we were all doing these condensed teams because we had way too many characters available for how many teams we needed to place on defense and offense. And so this is kind of the pinnacle. This is the best version of that team because it defends well against Darth Vader, which granted he is lower utility now because of the nerf, but it was kind of a threat back then, and this is still a good team because it also protects a little bit against Sith Eternal because you have that damage or the healing immunity from Jedi training Rey. And Rey is gaining all sorts of turn meter because everyone's getting debuffed and she's getting turn meter from it. This is the classic Rey team. I don't know if I like it the best, but I mean, this is the one that they kind of wanted us to build, I feel like.
Yeah, and this team has got everything. It's got a couple of great damage dealers, couple of tanks, both of whom start taunting as soon as Hero Finn starts his ability, and it's tricky, especially if you've got limited options to use on offense over here. This can get a little tricky, I guess.
It can.
So what would you take to counter something like this? If you see this exact comp on defense?
That's a great question. I think so you can still use Sith Eternal here, and I think that's a good use for it. It's not, you just have to be real careful. You have to use Link in a strategic way so that so you put the initial Link on, and then you're gonna have to find a way for once she reapplies healing immunity from Jedi training Rey, you need to save that Link for that moment to get it off of him as quickly as possible, because otherwise you just drown. Otherwise they took away, like, I don't think that the Luke Nukem team is going to work with Jedi Revan because General Skywalker's doing less damage. I think that Vader obviously is going to struggle. This team is a lot stronger now, actually, after the nerf.
Yeah.
What would you do?
I mean, if I've kept my gas on offense, which is a pretty rare thing, I usually keep him on defense. I may try my luck with gas against it,
Sure.
but apart from that, I probably might try a ray mirror. I usually
Yeah.
feel comfortable with ray mirrors in 3v3 and 5v5 because I don't have Sith Eternal, so my options are limited over here. If I don't have a ray mirror as well, if I don't have ray available, then I might just have to, try my luck with SLKR and Night Sisters maybe. That could be an option, I guess.
Yeah, and that's absolutely valid as well. I think, yeah, I actually the thing I want to explore more on this team is I want to use Rey, a mirror match. I want to explore that, especially against the Rey Cat, which I guess we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, the Rey mirror match is actually fantastic if you can get it down. If you can,
Yeah.
it can be a slog if you don't know what you're doing though.
Yeah, it can get problematic. Let's move to the other race squad. We've got the way we structured this video is we've got two or three variants of each GL that we'll talk about. So we've got about 10 to 11 teams over here, and this particular version of Ray we have is with Scoundrels. IG-11, BAM, and Quill are great on offense with their own separate team, but they can do some magical things with Ray as well, especially with another taunting tank like L3. This team can get pretty problematic. Have you ever used a team like this on defense before?
I have, and I would say that I tend to, I don't know, I've always put weaker teams with Ray just because I'm more concerned about, I just want to get their good counters out, and so if I can just make them waste a good team on my bad characters, then I can use the good characters elsewhere. But this is probably the team that defends most for me because
Hmm.
they've got a lot of like IG-11 and Queel with the Ray lifeblood is just so ludicrously over. Like they just don't die. IG-11 is just tanky on his own in a vacuum, but with Ray lifeblood, it gets truly absurd. So this
Yeah.
team is good on defense for sure.
Pretty good. And there's so much of damage mitigation and revives over here. Quill has got that special ability which revives droids. So both L3 and IG can be revived with that. L3, if you've got the Zeta on her, can revive IG-11 or at least equalize health with him. You've got Rey who gives damage immunity if they go into yellow health. You've got Mando who gives damage immunity as well. So there's just so many things which can throw a wrench in your counters that it can make it an annoying team.
Oh, it absolutely can. One thing I really like is that healing immune from Beskar's Whistling Birds, and I've actually had it so that I've lost my Ray, and Bam is the only one left alive because he just like whistling birds everyone to death at the end. He's cool. Like you don't rely on those whistling birds, except the healing immunity against Sith Eternal. That can be so key if they're using a Watt variant. Then sure, Watt will dispel it, but like armor won't. The stuff that Sith Eternal gets from Watt. From armor doesn't dispel the healing immune, and if Ray it can be quick enough, like you can just finish him off before he can regenerate. So this team is
Yeah.
scary. It's got a lot of multifaceted defensive angles, I guess.
Yep, absolutely. Definitely tricky. We've got one more raid team that we want to talk about before we move over to the other GLs, and this is the one with Cat. Now, tell me why you like Cat so much with Ray.
well, Ray is. Oh man, I feel so dumb every time I say it. But Ray is a Lusufu. She's a light side, unaligned Force user, and so Ahsoka Tano works really nicely with her because she's able to give the whole squad extra offense and extra offense, extra health, extra everything, and like for Ray. especially, man. So the offense is great. The health is also just staggeringly good because she does lifeblood, and that's based off of her max health, which suddenly her max health, her health pool is already like 220k health. So you get another 50%. She's at 330k. She's handing out lifeblood, X bonus protection to everyone on the team based off of that every turn, and it can do crazy things. And then you get to the ultimate. She destroys people. Cat can eventually just annihilate someone. Like, you can't use General Skywalker, for instance, against this team because eventually Cat is just gonna kill him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a good point. And the addition of L3 over here is also pretty good because L3 is a scoundrel. So Shien is going to fall on L3, and every time that L3 counters, Commander Ahsoka Tano's force sleep cooldown is reduced. So that gets her to her force sleep ability pretty fast as well.
yeah, it's it can get sticky, man. This team has legs, and honestly, right now the testing of it, like, I would really want to try the mirror, like I've said, but if that, I don't know if that'll work, maybe not, but I would love to try the mirror without Cat. If I can get that to work, that'll be great. Jedi Master Kenobi with Cat is the only team that reliably gets good banners against this, and I still think they struggle a tiny bit unless you can get a target. If you can get that insta kill on their Cat early on, like, maybe then you'll have a shot. But it's a mess, man. This team.
I know, and with L3 taunting in there, you can't really do it early enough. The only thing you can do is wait till the soonest that you can get to Kenobi's ultimate, maybe at 50 or 60%, where people can start ignoring taunt. That's when you get the ultimate, take your own Cat, and then target the enemy Cat, take her out immediately, and then and try to control the battle. But you just have to hope that Rey doesn't whirlwind a couple of your characters before then.
Yeah, this team is a fiasco waiting to happen. That being said, it is also extremely character heavy. Like, the 3 teams that we've shown people and all, the only complaints I have is they're vital characters to other teams as well. And with expanded divisions, what they are, I don't want to spare Hero Finn and Hero Poe for this. Maybe we could find another replacement couple characters to these guys, but one way or another, like, Cat also goes really well on offense with other teams. I want someone to just solve, where do I put Cat, because she can go in a lot of places in 5v5.
Absolutely, and that's the hallmark of a great character, just tremendous amount of flexibility. Yeah. All right, let's move to the next GL. Let's talk about Jedi Master Luke. Now, this first comp we have, I love using Jedi Knight Luke with Jedi Master Luke. I just feel there's so much of synergy out there. Both these guys feed so well off of each other. And the rest of the characters that we have over here are characters who can heal and regenerate Jedi Master Luke's protection and call assist. I think all those are important things that this team needs. What else do you like about this team?
I mean, you basically said it all. Like, I love I think my very favorite thing, and obviously you just said it, but I love that they can all call and assist. So you use Jedi Master Luke's it's not an ultimate ability, his leadership ability to charge the ultimate first, so you can call people to assist, and then once that's on cooldown, they all have another way to call everyone to assist, and it doesn't always work in that turn order. Like, sometimes you want to put that Master's Training on Luke right away with Hoda or something, but one way or another, you have a tremendous amount of resilience here. And I mean, Jedi Master Luke, you're not going to crit him or anything because of all of his mastery and everything, but if you've modded him well, but he's still going to be taking a lot of heat. You need to be able to heal him, and all of these guys are the Jedi for the job. And you have a stun with Jedi Luke. You have this squad has legs. It's a lot of fun.
Quick question, offense or defense for this particular squad for you?
I would put this on. I would keep this for offense, because here's the thing: they're all cheap characters, and you can probably counter a lot of Galactic. You can counter most Rey teams if it's not Rey Cat. You can kill all the Rey Cat or the Rey teams with it. You can take out I don't know. Depending on the Kenobi team, you can maybe take that out. Supreme Leader Kylo, for sure. This is the comp
Yeah.
I've used a lot to take it out. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's got good banner recovery, so that's another thing. What about
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, I think definitely an awesome team on offense. Like you said, it can probably take out most GLs. Um, and the fact that you've got so many cleanses in there, you've got Shakti and Hermit Yoda, and even Jolie has got a cleanse. It allows Jedi Master Luke to not be ability blocked or controlled by debuffs. You always have someone to cleanse them and get them up there. And with Master's training from Hermit Yoda, it basically just supercharges both Jedi Master Luke and Jedi Knight Luke. So great team to have on offense.
Yeah, and if someone just accidentally dies to an AOE, like Jolie's like, "Hey, I got your back, and
Yep.
no one can crit me. I'm not gonna die." So
Yep.
yeah, overall, this is one of my favorite builds because even though you're using two pretty strong characters together, the other three supporting characters can absolutely be spared from other teams a lot of times.
Absolutely. It is a little expensive though because you are using Jedi Knight Luke, and which is why this second team that we're going to talk about with Jedi Master Luke is going to showcase some B-level Jedi with Jedi Master Luke because you don't need, because of the nature of his lead ability, you can do with you can take out some really tough teams with B-level Jedi as well. So what else do you like about this particular team or this particular lineup?
Man, I call this the WhackaMole team because Ayla, man, my very favorite thing, honestly, like almost my favorite team in the game is this one because Ayla stuns on basic and everyone can call her to assist. And so you just stun everyone on the team, and then if they come out of stun, you just send them to stun him again, and eventually once you get his leadership or his ultimate, then you can target outside of taunt and you just do it even better. So and she's doing massive damage because it's all based off of Jedi
Yeah.
Luke or Master Luke's protection. So like the Whack-A-Mole team, it doesn't work against everything, and there's no hard hitter beyond his ultimate or his leadership,
Yeah.
but yeah, I love this team. What do you love about it?
Yeah, I mean, you've got two sources of mass ability block, AoE ability block, Luke
Yeah.
and Old Ben, which is really useful to have for control. You've got a Dispel on basic with Shakti, and with Jedi Master Luke, you always need someone like Hermit Yoda or Shakti who can heal his protection up. So Shakti is a great addition in there. And then you've got Ayla to do that whack-a-mole thing that we're talking about. It's so much fun to see her just stunning the whole team left and right and not allowing them to take a single turn. It's one of my favorite things to do since I've geared up Ayla.
Yeah, man. I've zero regrets about putting relics on Ayla. She's super fun. Now, let me ask you a question. Would you use this to counter a Galactic Legend?
Well, Supreme Leader Kylo definitely, because you don't have Foresight over here, but you've got two sources of mass ability block. Both Ben and Jedi Master Luke do great versus Supreme Leader Kylo. I wouldn't take this against a Rey, um, but a mirror definitely against another Jedi Master Luke. If I'm faster, I would definitely use this team because you can use Ayla pretty effectively in that scenario as well. I'm trying to think if there's any other GLs that this will be able to counter. Definitely not Sith Eternal. Um,
No,
maybe
you might be able to do a little damage. You could kill the ads maybe
yeah, maybe
against
you
Sith
can kill the
Eternal.
ads, but not before you get taken out. But I would say maybe a B version of Jedi Master Kenobi as well. You might be able to take out because it all depends on how fast you're able to get to the ultimate and start targeting people around you. Maybe if you're faster than the enemy Jedi Master Kenobi, then you might be able to do a decent job against it.
Yeah, I think so. Possibly. It's so hard to tell with B-level teams. It's like you're not going to get a perfect score, but I mean, Jedi Master Luke is really good at making bad characters, or at least okay characters, like better than they
Yeah.
normally would. One thing I will warn people about. So, just like a tiny bit of a backtrack, even. So this team, or any Jedi Master Luke team, is going to struggle a lot against that Rey team with Beskar. Like there's just too many hit points, too much recovery, and I just don't want people to fall into that trap because the Jedi Master Luke traditionally can take out Rey. I just don't think that Beskar team, unless you're a super advanced user, I would veer away from tackling Rey with this team.
One thing that you can use Jedi Master Luke with B Jedi on is maybe a gas team. Gas is obviously buffed up now with 501st, and if you want to save your good Jedi for something else, you can potentially get Jedi Master Luke in there to do a mass ability block, give all your own Jedi turn meter. Old Ben is there to give a second set of wave of ability blocks as well. And the gas team falls down pretty hard to the to Luke's leadership ability because of that 50-60k damage that does. You might be able to get through fives pretty fast, and you could even if gas needs to sit down a couple of times, you should be able to get through it before he does damage.
Yeah, I would just caution because we don't know how he works now.
Yeah,
kind of like
yeah.
he stands up a lot faster. Like if you like sit him down and then the clones just take a bunch of turns, then he'll just stand back up and he'll be all buffed up from all of your buffs. Like it could get ugly if you get the wrong timing. But I think you're right. I think this will take down. This will take that team down. It'll also probably take down a Darth Revan team if you need to, but it could get pretty ugly as well.
Yeah,
if you're
I think
careful.
with Barriss, with Hoda in there instead of Barriss, you have two sources of healing with Shakti and Hoda, and you've got Foresight, so that might make things a little more stable. But yeah, otherwise I think Rex's Annihilate is not going to do anything against JML, and yeah, let's see. I mean, it needs to be tested, but it's just a theory.
Yeah, worth taking a look.
All right, let's move on to our next GL, which is going to be Jedi Master Kenobi. We've got a couple of versions of this team as well. Let's talk about the pure Galactic Republic Jedi version with Cam. Now, this version will give all the bonuses that Cam has, which is the extra speed. Support characters like Yoda are going to get extra offense as well. And this is the non-cat version. This is the the version with Ahsoka Tano for the extra assist synergy and General Kenobi for the tank synergy. So tell me a little bit more about this team.
Yeah, so I mean, this is the team that I really wish was the best version. I wish we could find a way to use this instead of the one with Cat, because if we could free Cat from this team and this team was still just as good, like we could conceivably, like we could run Rey Cat and this team. That being said, like Ki-Adi-Mundi, if you have his Zeta, that he's making this team so quick, because Jedi Master Kenobi gives what, plus 30, plus 40, something like that, plus 30, and then Ki-Adi-Mundi's giving plus 30 if they're all Galactic Republic Jedi, and then Grandmaster Yoda. I mean, he's the sad guy, right? Like he's the one who's missing out on a lot of his kit utility in his kit, but he's also going to be doing some crazy damage. So I like this team. I think in the perfect world of Xaereth, in my mind, I think this is like the platonic ideal of the Kenobi team. Obviously not as strong as Cat, but you got Armor Shred, you've got Dispels with Ahsoka all over the place, you've got buff distribution. What's not to like about this squad?
Yep, absolutely. What GLs can the squad take out?
So you probably kill a Supreme Leader Kylo team fairly well with it. I don't know. You could probably any team without Cat, basically. Any team that doesn't benefit greatly from Cat. So like I'd stay away from the Mirror if they have Cat.
Yeah, definitely.
Or from Rey. Otherwise, I think this team actually does just kill all the other teams so far. What do you think?
Yeah, I think definitely SLKR. It would actually do pretty well against JML squads as well, because JML typically tends to be faster than Jedi Master Kenobi, but with Ki-Adi-Mundi in there to give the extra 30 bump, if you're afraid of the JML team ability blocking your Jedi Master Kenobi before you go, just add Cam in there with all Galactic Republic Jedi, and all of a sudden your Jedi Master Kenobi is faster than the enemy JML, and you can go and do all these assists, get to your ultimate fast, ignore JML altogether, take out the side Jedi, and then you can take your time finishing out JML. So I think this is a pretty good counter to a tough JML squad that you might see on defense.
I think so. I think one thing I'd like to see is maybe take out Yoda. We could put we could take the other Anakin. I mean, he likes to go with Padme. And Padme will be super sad without him.
Yeah.
But um,
Buff
Yoda can
immunity
go.
and healing immunity. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
It seems like it would add a similar amount of utility. Grandmaster Yoda, man, he is good on this team. You'd have to make him super fast to make up for all of his lack of TM gain on his
Yeah. Yeah.
abilities. So it's a good team, and Grandmaster Yoda, I think you also have to be careful. This is the team that General Skywalker used to just be able to auto. You just hit the auto button.
Yes, that is correct. All of those buffs and all that, and without Cat in there, that's the main thing which people hold back from using General Skywalker and Jedi Master Kenobi. If Cat is not there, these guys are still generating tons of debuffs, tons of buffs, and supercharging gas in the 501st. So yeah, that's something to be wary of if you're using this team.
Absolutely.
Now we come to the version of Jedi Master Kenobi with Cat in there, and we've got Ahsoka Tano just because she goes so well with JMK, and we've got Padme and Mace in there. Let's talk a little bit about those two characters.
Yeah, so Mace is just there because this is the assumption that your opponent is going to have Cat on their team and you're going to kill each other's tank. So why would you waste a good character on that exchange? Just use worthless Mace and be done with it.
Yep. And Padme, obviously she doesn't have a lead with the 40% recovery, but her unique does give her a 10% recovery every time that enemies assist. So if you're using it on a mirror, for example, with all the assists which come in, you do have at least 10% protection up ability, which can add a little more survivability.
Yeah, this is obnoxious. I face this every single day in arena. This is the fight for number 1. She's here with Cat, and I mean that 10% doesn't sound like too much, but if you take her so mine is obviously relic 8 here, and this isn't like the very best health you can have, but she's got 110k health, and then she's like Cat is boosting that by 50%, so we're adding another 55 K to it, and then she's regaining every time someone assists on her. She's regaining 10% of that. It adds up in a big way. Not to mention, I think Kenobi actually adds some things to that as well, and mastery, and Padme is obnoxious with this combo.
Yeah, it all adds up, and the other couple of things that Padme brings to the table is she brings a mass assist. With a potential stun, and she also brings a cleanse, which is something that traditionally Jedi Master Kenobi's team does not have. The traditional team that you usually see, Ahsoka can cleanse while critting on a basic, but Jedi Master Kenobi can cleanse everyone once he reaches his ultimate. But having another mass cleanse in there in the middle can be pretty useful as well.
It really can. This team is pretty good, and the fact is, Padme is just so sad with she's going to be missing so many characters because Jedi Master Kenobi wants to use them, and so sometimes you may as well just throw her in with him.
Yep, good point. All right, let's move over to our next GL, who's going to be Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, and we've got a couple of teams over here. Let's talk about this team over here first. Supreme Leader Kylo with Night Sisters. Now, Supreme Leader Kylo is one of those GLs who, just like all other dark side GLs, he can be used to solo so many teams on offense, or can be used with one or two other supporting characters to take out a lot of tough teams, including GLs. What kind of use do you have for Supreme Leader Kylo on offense?
I mean, my favorite one is probably against the Jedi Master Luke team with Basti lead, because he can solo it. And we had I know that you and I had talked about maybe just one of the two teams that we use for him is just as a solo character, because he'll get you a 64, 63 pretty easily. But with this team, I mean, the implication, of course, is that we're using two other characters here, and you can kind of just fill in as needed. I think this team, I mean, I'd have to test it. I think this still has utility. I know for a fact that I face this sometimes in arena that like people climb against Kenobi with this team,
Yeah.
because they just get stuck on Night Sister Zombie constantly taunting because of advantage that he hands out, and so that will absolutely work. Yeah, there are a lot of teams like he. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jedi Master Kenobi and Rey, because both of these characters
Ray,
have got,
sure.
either Rey with their whirlwind or Jedi Master Kenobi with the Cat's Force Leap. They have a way to annihilate single target characters, whoever is taunting, and Zombie does a really great job of absorbing those big hits. Rey obviously can do an ultimate and take out Daka and Zombie together, and there's no reviving back from that. But if it is able to buy Supreme Leader Kylo Ren enough time, the main purpose of Daka and Zombie in here too is to get Supreme Leader Kylo Ren enough time to build up to his ultimate, and once he does, then he'll be in a much better position versus both Rey teams and JMK teams.
Yeah, I was kind of at a loss for words there for a minute. We've been recording for a little bit because we're doing all these in one shot, but I was like trying to envision, for some reason I couldn't think of Rey. I was like trying to think of which team can annihilate Zombie, and yeah, Rey is absolutely the one to like. She just bounces. She's like, I'm gonna do a whirlwind, and Zombie's like, haha, like it doesn't matter. Just don't
Yeah.
care about that.
Yeah, and then the other two spots we were talking about, you can fill it with any other supporting characters. You can get Watt in there for debuff removal from Supreme Leader Kylo. You can get your Hermit Yoda in there for extra masters training and extra defense. You could get Armorer in there as well, or you could put in one of the First Order characters as supporting cast as well.
Yeah, I really like Hux here. I mean, and also First Order officer.
Yeah.
He's kind of the odd man left out, and I've always thought he has fantastic utility in a lot of different squads, just because he hands a turn to anyone. But he can reduce those cooldowns with his special and everything. Whatever you need to do. Kylo, it's ironic that he can just he just goes with dark side characters. He doesn't care who. He just uses people and casts them aside. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Kind of
that's
lore.
that's one thing with him. He gets you low banners on offense, but he's a versatile character. At least I wouldn't keep him on defense. At least in my personal opinion, I would always keep him on offense just because he's able to be so versatile on offense. On defense, there are almost every single GL can counter him, and you have non-GL teams also like the Jedi Knight Revan and JKL teams which can still counter him pretty effectively. So definitely one leader that you should consider keeping on offense.
Yeah, I think he's great on offense. I'll end up putting him on defense a lot this season, but I put a lot of GLs on defense, so nothing personal about him.
And then we have the traditional version of the Supreme Leader Kylo team over here with Hux, Sith Trooper, and two tanks. I think the two tank version is definitely trickier to handle.
Sure, I'd put this on This is the kind of thing I'd put on defense, probably. It'll kill things on offense for terrible banners, and it won't kill anything like really worthwhile, like Sith Eternal. You kill Sith Eternal for decent banners, but you probably won't even decent being like maybe 55 or something. It's
So how do you make this team non-GL proof? So if someone is planning to take the JKL team against it, what kind of things should you do to make it difficult for them?
I mean, so it's expensive to do, frankly. So you need to make your Kylo super fast so that he can lap their old Ben, and if that happens, then that counter is non-viable. Old Ben has to be, after you add all the leadership speeds and all, we don't need to get into the math, but if he can be faster and lap Old Ben, then this team won't be countered by that Jedi Knight Luke team unless it's for horrific banners. You can put tenacity on Hux because he has a really high base tenacity, so when they try to ability block him, he can just resist. He can get up to 205 real easily. Sith Trooper, you put a ton of health on him so that they can't just focus him down immediately or just like do a couple hits on him and have him die. Make the tanks real tanky. You can do it, it takes some effort.
Yeah, you have to be deliberate about it. Those are all really good points. Yeah. Cool.
I,
Let's
I think
move
the
on.
speed on him, the speed is the
Yeah, the speed is the
ruin
key
at
thing
this
because
point.
you want him to. You're right. You want him to overlap, lap Ben, twice, so that he can't be used effectively. Correct.
Right, and it's like you have to put your best mods on him, which I don't
Yeah,
like to do.
yeah. And we move on to our last GL, Sith Eternal Emperor. Now, I personally don't have Sith Eternal Emperor, so I'm going to lean heavily on you, Xaereth, to do a lot of the explanation on this one. But Sith Eternal is another one of those GLs who I've seen so many times being used on offense, almost solo or with one or two supporting characters. Tell me a little bit about how you like to use him on offense.
Yeah, so the trick to him is really trying to figure out exactly how low of a character or how low of support he needs. Like sometimes he doesn't need anyone. He could just solo something on his own. Most of the time you want a babysitter like Watt or Armor to be able to help him regenerate his health and protection. I mean, I like if you can do Armor, it's great because she gives him an extra 15% health, and you want to mod him with as much health as you can. But you give him that 15% max health boost, and he's healing his protection. It's super nice because he's also like draining protection, etc. But the only bad thing about that, of course, is that Armor then is not really. She's not allowing him to dispel debuffs. So Watt, on the other hand, doesn't give him extra health, but he does help him dispel debuffs. Sometimes you're going to need, if you're using Armor, you need some way to apply the buffs, and Gar Saxon is the man for that job because he is a tank and he's expendable. And so the enemy team will like stun him or whatever, they'll hit him because he's taunting, because Sith Eternal is forcing the taunt, and Armor will then be able to, if they hit him hard enough, that she'll get a third stack, give it to Sith Eternal so he can counter. Doesn't need that second or that third usually, but I mean, there's a lot of ways to use him. It can be. You got to be careful though. I think the biggest thing is navigating the waters of being able to. The healing immunity is the thing that he's most scared of.
Yeah, and even though I don't have Sith Eternal, he's one GL that I'm really jealous of you guys who have him, because he is so versatile on offense, and he's that one GL who probably can take out all other GLs if you use him in the right way, including even SLKR, who's supposed to be a hard counter to him. He does great against the Jedi GL. He does great against Rey. And he's just so versatile. You just have to know which characters to put in with him, and you'll definitely end with good success on offense.
This is where we say, watch our channels and you'll see how to
Yes.
use Sith Eternal. but
Yes.
but really, he is very versatile. You just have to be careful, because if you stack him full of characters, that eventually they all just die, because he doesn't care about him. He's like Kylo. He's just like, you know what, we'll use you, we'll heal you sometimes, but you'll just die. I realize. And then he'll be like, I win for 47 banners. And then sometimes you're like, yay, that was cool.
Yeah. That's one thing with dark side GLs is they don't really do anything much for their supporting characters. They allow them to die. They themselves get a lot of benefit out of it. Light side GLs, on the other hand, give damage immunity to the surrounding characters, give healing, protection up, and all that good stuff, and even tank them out. So that's the one difference that I've seen thematically between light side GLs and dark side GLs.
Yeah, I agree. And I expect Lord Vader to be more of the same, though we don't need to offer speculation too much. And actually, when we release this, everyone will have his kit by then anyway, so...
Yeah. And then we have one final team that we wanted to showcase. We've got the Sith Empire with Sith Eternal Emperor. Now, this is an interesting concept. This is something I'm assuming you would keep on defense. Tell me a little bit more about this.
So you only put this on defense to make, like, you want to make sure that... All right, so here's the thing. A lot of people can still use Imperial Troopers to counter Sith Eternal if you're not careful, because even though he's got that turn meter gain now with the new buff, if you can daze him immediately, then that doesn't matter. Like they'll still be gaining all the turn meter, and he won't be gaining turn meter. So you can negate the buff. That being said, Darth Revan, if you make him really fast, you go with his leadership ability. He gets 20, but doubled for Sith, so Darth Revan plus 40 speed. And Darth Revan can get up to... It's not that hard for a lot of advanced rosters to get him up to 340, 350 speed. So another plus 50, or another plus 40 can really just stop Imperial troopers in their tracks, stop any other counters from going first for that matter, and
Yeah.
it's just really expensive because you're using Darth Revan here as well.
Yeah, it is expensive, but it forces the enemy to use a GL, right? I mean, what is a non-GL counter that you would use against this? It's it's non-existent. And even GLs, what would you take? What kind of a team would you take to counter this team if you see it on defense?
Yeah, so you don't want to use Jedi Master Luke for sure.
Yeah.
It may be a Rey team depending on the situation. Like Supreme Leader Kylo with his friends can absolutely do it for, like, you're gonna drop some banners for sure, but
Yeah.
and Sith Eternal in this situation could actually get to his ultimate relatively quickly. Like, he might just be able to fry the whole team besides Supreme Leader Kylo. So this team is high risk, high reward. Like, sometimes you just block someone from doing anything against
Yeah.
you, and sometimes you're just like, well, great, I wasted a GL and a really good other team. So
Yeah, yeah. The Jedi GL are going to struggle against it. Rey is even if she wins, she's going to get low banners. SLKR will succeed, but again, low banners. So if you want to keep this team, it might be a good idea to keep it at the back and try to draw out their Rey or
yep.
SLKR in the front, so that you trap these guys with this team. It could be a surprise team for folks. Yep.
This is absolutely a trap team. Yeah, you put it in the back, and they're like, oh, you've never placed this before. I guess I'll lose because I
Yeah.
used all my resources.
Yeah. Well, that's all the teams that we had to cover. Obviously, there's tons more combinations and permutations that you guys can use with GLs, both on offense and defense. And I'm sure in the next season, the coming up season, we'll get to see a lot of these combinations as well. And so another reminder: come watch our channels, come watch our Twitch live streams, our YouTube videos, so that you are up to date on the latest stuff which is out there. Because we guys do a lot of research. We talk to other folks in the community, and we try to figure out the best stuff out there, the best stuff to counter and the best stuff to keep on defense. So you're constantly getting good ideas anytime you're watching guys stream their GAC. So with that, I guess we are done with the video for today for GLs. If you guys haven't already subscribed to Xaereth, again, another reminder: come join us in the Gambit Discord. Subscribe to Xaereth. He streams on Twitch pretty regularly. You don't want to miss it. I've learned tons of stuff from him. Anything else you want to add before we end the video about the next 5v5 season or about GLs in general?
And it's been a blast, man. Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely, always a pleasure. And thanks again for this collab. Really excited, my very first collab. But I hope we do more of these in the future.
I hope so, man.
All right. And in all things, Gambit prevails.
Yes.